What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fountain City Hockey Podcast, a podcast for the fans by a fan. Please help me welcome our guest today, the goal-scoring, shimmy-shaking Alex Storjohann. Join me in learning about his life growing up playing hockey, his time in the juniors, and also his time now playing in Columbus. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. How's everything going, Alex? Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I like to start off every podcast with an open-ended question for you. So who is Alex Storjohann?
Alex Storjohann's an easygoing guy. Love to laugh, love to hang out with my people, and just try to get the most out every day.
Absolutely. I can definitely respect that. So starting off, how was growing up? Where are you from?
So on Hockey DB and stuff, it says I'm from Arizona, but I was born in Alaska. I lived there till I was 10. So grew up. I have one older brother, and we played pond hockey, street hockey, playing football, soccer, outdoors. Anything I could, doing fishing, and just was a real outdoorsman until I was about 10, and then moved to Seattle for about a year, and then to Arizona. So grew up playing pond hockey, and then when I got to Arizona, it was more roller hockey and a real change of climate.
I was say, how hard was it actually trying to find other than in was it Phoenix where they have the Coyotes?
Yep.
How hard was it actually trying to find hockey?
So there's about, when I got there, I want to say there was 5 or 6 rinks throughout the valley. Phoenix is pretty big. The closest rink was 30 minutes. There was one 30 minutes west. So I lived in North Phoenix, about 45 minutes north of downtown. And Phoenix is all freeway based. So if you go up the I-17 towards Flagstaff, I lived up that way in a little suburb called Anthem. But there was the west side, Polar Ice was about 30 minutes, and then you had the Ice Den where the Coyotes, their practice rink, was about 30 minutes to the east.
So you had pretty good access to ice then.
Yeah. I mean, both my parents lived or worked down towards downtown, so they'd have to commute down to work, and then they'd get off. One would pick my brother up, one would pick me up. We'd practice at different rinks. Yeah,
So that's always fun.
But no, it wasn't. There's the hockey community out there. It's boomed since I even got there, but there's access.
That's great. Now, at what age did you start getting on the pond and on the streets?
Since I can remember, I want to say 2 years old. My parents strapped a pair of skates on me just because I wanted to do everything my older brother did. Yeah, we used to. Long winters up in Alaska. Get home from school, and my buddy's grandparents on a lake up there, freeze over in the winter. They'd drop us off over there, and we'd go play until the sun went down.
Guys are just some open outdoor hockey.
Yeah.
So you go in, you move down to Arizona. Like you said, you were 11 or 12 at that point in time.
Yeah.
What would you say was the turning point to you that you were like, okay, played hockey for fun, now it's getting a little bit more serious. I could actually make something out of this, go to college, play, and possibly play pros.
Yeah. Since I started playing, it was, the only thing I ever really, I was so into it. Always had the dream of going to the NHL, and whenever I got home from school, that's all I wanted to do, whether it was playing NHL on, video games or playing street hockey in the summer, pond hockey in the winter. I would say about 15 or 16 is when that's when you grow up playing on these teams, and there's a couple guys who, you can tell they're just there as a hobby, and then that's kind of the decision. For me, I had a couple great coaches that were, pushing me. They're like, you got it. But that's 15, 16 is kind of the turning point. Hey, my dad always asked me, do you want to play hockey or do you want to be a hockey player? And at first I was like, I don't really understand that, Dad. Because to me, my answer was I wanted to be a hockey player, but I was like, but I just want to play hockey. So to me, I always knew I wanted to play this game as long as I could and go as far as I could. So yeah, 15 or 16. You really got to make a decision.
I got you. And you put up some pretty big offensive numbers throughout your whole career, all the way from juniors and even now into the pros. So you definitely had the skill. Let's talk about your junior hockey. You played for three or four teams for juniors.
Yeah, 3 teams.
You played in you said the USPA.
Yeah, it's PHL. So when I was second year at U18, I was going to leave after my junior year of high school, which was after my first year at U18 when I was 17. I was going to go play in the USPHL for a different team, but decided to stay back for my senior year and graduate with my buddies in Arizona. And then when I was playing U18, my last year, we went to nationals, and I was getting recruited by different teams, and RC Like with the Richmond Generals. My best buddy from home, him and I decided to go out there. Got with really good local kid there who played on a line with us too, and we had success, and that pushed me to go play in Carleton Place the next year, which is one of the top 5 junior A programs in the whole continent, I would say. When I got there, our whole roster was D1 guys. So every practice, you're going up against, the best players at your level and guys who are going to be playing Division 1 next year. And then you only get, when you go play in Canada at junior A, they only get 6 cards they call them cards. You get 6 imports and you get 5 20-year-olds. So I was a 20-year-old import. So it's kind of a valuable card. And then as I was there, I was talking to the coach. He was like, yeah, we got some young guys coming up. It was just a loaded program. So he's like, kind of, where do you want to go? Here's your options. You can kind of go wherever you want. But my buddy that I played with in Richmond from home, he had gone to Kirkland Lake. And so, got traded up there. And we absolutely lit it up. It was a hell of a time. I really enjoyed my time in Canada. The people were great. And coming from Arizona, it's pretty cool to be a part of that community, to see how much they cared about hockey and how it just ran with their day to day. It's such a big part of the culture up there.
Now, coming out of juniors, before you decided to go play in college, were you drafted by anybody?
No.
So you went to play at Sunny Cortland, NCAA Division III. Were you on scholarship, or did you apply, take tests, and walk on, or how was that going into college?
Throughout my whole junior career, even when I was in Richmond, I was getting recruited by a lot of D3 teams, and then the whole backing behind going to Carleton Place is, if you're able to push through, and there's a good chance you can go Division 1. So when I was there, I was talking to a couple teams, no offers or anything. Once I got traded up to Kirkland Lake, I was still talking to a couple schools that I met in Richmond, and then there were some new schools, and I had one of my coaches back in Arizona. He went to SUNY Morrisville, which is about an hour and a half from Portland, and he was good buddies with the Cortland assistant. That's how I got that connection late in that summer. But there's no D3, you can't be on a full ride, but there are, little loopholes in academic scholarships or out of state stuff. So I wasn't on a full ride. They helped me out as much as they could.
Absolutely. So what would you say the difference was going from playing juniors, which is basically like playing pro at a young age, basically the same rules, to now going to play NCAA Division III? You're going from a visor back to a cage. You're going back to more physical, or going backwards, basically, from heavy physical play to now bumping somebody draws a penalty.
Yeah. Up in the Noge when I was in Kirkland Lake, it's, once I got to this league, I was like, okay, junior was a lot more like pro than college. If it was a lot more self-policing than college. You get there and, I'm playing with 25-year-old men. I was a 21-year-old freshman. I was old myself, but and in the SUNYAC, that conference is known to be the best D3 conference, or one of the best, and it's very heavy. Games are 2-1, 3-1, heavy checking, dumping pucks. So that was the biggest difference. It was less run and gun for a skill guy like me. But I always look back to my days in Alaska, and Western hockey is a bit more physical. you got to earn your ice, but you also got to be tough to play against. So I think those routes help me out a lot because there's a lot less space. It's a lot faster, but the skill is within the less time that you have to move the puck. So as a winger, if I'm get that breakout pass from the D man, their defenseman stepping up on me. The skill is being able to find the right play to make faster. So college was faster and more physical, but obviously you can't fight and you're wearing a cage.
Yeah.
Between the lines, between the whistles, I would say it's more physical than this, than pro, but everything happens so fast that you can kind of go on autopilot.
I got you. Yeah, because I mean, you go from your time in Kirkland, where you had 73 points in 46 games that year, and then just I don't know if it's college, just like you said, it might be because of it being more physical between the blue lines of the point drop off. But I mean, we see the skill that you have because look what you're doing.
In college, it's well, I'll start out in junior. So I was playing with my best friend growing up, and then we went to Richmond. So we had a lot of chemistry. When I went to Kirkland Lake, and we got a guy who played in the WHL, pure scorer. So me and my buddy knew where each other were all the time. We could both score, we could both pass, and then we got a guy who just had he had an NHL shot, big kid, so he really mixed in well. So that's kind of why we lit it up, and you get a lot more ice time. And then as you go to college, you got 4 lines. And as you go program to program in college, it really depends on the coach and the culture there. So in regards to the point drop off, I would say it was based on, our system, because he didn't really play into skill guys and playmakers as much. He didn't know how to really coach us and those guys. So if you didn't buy into dump and chase, playing the physical way, you weren't going to play, because we had 16 forwards and there's only 12 that are going to play every night. Yeah, I just had to change my game a little bit, and couldn't risk making as many mistakes in open ice, because he'd punish you for it. So, but that did help my game a lot on the back end. It was very frustrating at times, but yeah, we didn't score a lot as a team, and like I said, that conference is very tight. So
And no, I mean, you still, for the amount of games that you played, I mean, you still put up the points. So it's not like you only scored 1 or 2 points in 20 games. No, you still put points up. It's half the games.
Yeah, there's only 20 games, and it's because there's only that many games. You're playing Friday, Saturday for 5-6 months. Every game is an all-out war, and they mean so much. You can miss playoffs in that league, 1 or 2 games is the difference.
Like you said, there's 16 forwards, only 12 can play. So it's to me, it seems like more of a battle and to play college hockey. I mean, it's just like I've heard with college baseball. I mean, it's a battle to get out on the field. It's a battle to get out on the ice. Yeah. Would you say, in your opinion, that kind of took the fun of the game away was during college?
Yeah, for sure, a lot of it. I've always been able to kind of disassociate a little bit and still, go on autopilot and understand what I need to do. And then, if there's frustration that I'm not scoring or I'm not getting the ice time or the touches that I want, hey, just, let's apply. Let's not be negative about it. Let's just work hard at, doing the things that are going to get me on the ice and be successful. And I watched a lot of guys who couldn't handle that. A lot of great hockey players I played with in college that just, the coach didn't know how to coach them, and he wasn't a great communicator to those guys, and they just turned it into negativity, and that that was the end of them. So,
well, like you said, you pushed through it, and it's helped you out on the back end in the long run. So you end your 2021-2022 season in SUNY, and then you join the River Dragons in the middle of their year. When did you get your degree in SUNY and then come over to Columbus? How did all that happen?
Yeah, so my senior year was the COVID year, and in New York, just with how liberal and all the political ways of it, we they didn't even give us a chance to have a season. But I went back and I finished my degree there, and then I went back the next year because I got eligibility to play another year, and then that's when I've known Jay since my days in Richmond. That's where him and his dad lives. I got to know him when I was playing for the Generals. That was right before he left to play for his first pro year in the Fed, actually. So he used to come over, he'd skate with us, and then him and I hung out a lot. And he was in my ear my whole college career. Once it came to an end, I said, I'll go check it out. Looks great. And that's the step I took.
During that year, when did you actually get on the ice with Columbus?
So it was we didn't have a season, but spring break, I want to say, is late February. And then right around the first week of March, I flew down here, or I drove down here from New York, and we didn't have ice because the practice rink was the COVID station here. So we had my first practice. We got on the bus and we went to Birmingham, and they gave me new gloves, new gear. It was uncomfortable buzzing around like at the D3 pace, and then guys are kind of laughing. And now when in my shoes, when I see D3 guys come in, I can relate because it's just you practice so much faster, and the game is just go 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 go. Where here it's calculated. You slow down. So yeah.
And then so you had 12 points in that season, only 12 games. So you definitely came in and put some points up. You played 5 games at the playoffs that year. Had 2 goals and assists in the playoffs, and I believe that was the year we unfortunately lost to Watertown.
Oh yeah, that was. It's every year now. It's 3 in a row that we have the team. It just comes down to bounces or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it came in. My first games were the whiteout weekend against Watertown. Were my first pro games actually. Against Colgan, I always give him shit because my first pro goal, I always show him the video whenever we bicker a lot. But yeah, it came down to that. We had the 1-0 series lead. Yeah, I went up there. We were up 1-0 on the whole game too. Questionable penalty call, whatever it is, and end up blowing that and go back to that double overtime game. I can just remember all of us were so tired on both sides, and we were just playing tennis for 4 periods. Get the line, dump it in, 20-second shifts, get off, and then they got the bounce. We had a breakaway right before that. Jagger Williamson, great player, and then we didn't score. And it was going to be a greasy one, and it ended up being Lane King, who was our teammate the year after that, just jamming one in front. And yeah, it was a heartbreaker.
And it happens to everybody when it comes to sports and over their career.
Yeah, it was hard.
So you go from 21-22 season playing a brief stint, and then, like I said, you got your playoff run. 22-23, you actually get a full season up under your belt, and we get to see what you can actually really do. 28 goals, 40 assists, 68 total points. Put up a few penalty minutes. And then a lot of people don't look at this stat because they don't think it's really important, but do you know what your plus minus that year was?
No, but don't tell me what it was this year.
So your plus minus in 2022-2023 was 43, plus 43.
Yeah, I was comfortable with the pro game. I kind of knew what it was about in this league, and trained hard that summer. And then we got Jacob Kelly in, who ended up being my line mate, and Lane King, the guy who ended it all for us the year before. We played as a line the whole year, and we had great chemistry, and it seemed to click.
Now you said scoring your first pro goal on Colgan. Do you still have that puck?
I do. It's right here actually. You know what? It's a loss, 2-1 loss, Watertown.
So if you need to carry that in your bag to the rink one day, and whenever you and Colgan get into it, just toss it to him and say, "Here you go, bud."
Golf bag, how much he gives it to the golf course.
But no, going back, like I said, 22-23 season, amazing season. You get a full year up under your belt with Columbus, and we get to really see what you do. Going to this past year, probably one of, if not the best team that Columbus has ever had, arguable with some of the early 2000s, late 90s Cottonmouth teams, but the winning percentage is the best in Columbus history.
Yeah.
You put up 54 points, so you got 24 goals, 30 assists, and actually your plus minus was +5. So you were still on the positive end of everything.
Plus minus. I felt like every time I jumped over the boards, we get scored on, and then I couldn't catch up. I mean what happened this year was going into how good we are last summer. I mean, we should have won that year before too. We had the team to do it. I had a heartbreaking loss to Carolina, just like we did this year. But I mean, we brought in great pieces. J-Mac, obviously, Carrick, Slatch. We loaded up. We brought in great guys. Our team this year, we're so close. And as far as my points and my plus minus, I knew once we bring in J-Mac, and then we have Petro. So I'm not a natural center, but I can play center.
Mm-hmm.
So they put that role on me, and we had J-Mac, Morsey, Ryan Hunter. Those guys just had a phenomenal year, scoring at just a crazy clip. And then you got Petro, Dozer, and whoever would fill in for them. And then I was like, okay, I'm happy to fill in that third line centerman role. And that's what made our team so good. We had guys who were willing to sacrifice. Nobody was all about their own personal stats or ice time. And it was the winning percentage and how successful we were was awesome. But we also, in our program and our culture, we know it comes down to April and May in those 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, in your opinion, and it's not bashing anybody, what do you feel was the difference in the playoffs? Was it just puck luck? Carolina was able to get the puck luck when it mattered, or do you think, being that we had so many skilled guys, Carolina might have been a little bit bigger and maybe tired us down a little bit down towards the end? Because during the whole season, those games with Carolina, they're always tight.
Yeah,
and it was always back and forth.
Yeah, we know that, and we had 6 or 7 guys who have been here for a couple of years, and they have the same. So we know coming into this year, after playing them for 2 years, as many 10 times a year or whatever it is, and then in the playoffs, both sides know it's going to be tight. It's going to come down to one mistake or one good bounce, either way. So we were so much better than them, I think, but they live off of 2 or 3 good chances a game, and they can bear down. They have guys that can just put the puck in the net. And then Mario, their goalies, I don't know what it is, but he has our number. But at the end of the day, the last couple of years we might have blamed it on bounces, but with how good we were and the experience we have and the talent we have on our side, it just we didn't produce enough in the playoffs.
Didn't capitalize on the chances that were given.
We have the team where we should be scoring at least 3 goals a game, and we didn't do that. I mean, Polgan stood on his head, played the best hockey I've ever seen him play. Can't blame him. And look at the game 3 overtime. Yeah, it was a breakdown. We had, or even game 2, when we were up. We were down 1-0 going into the third. I scored, and then Petro scored. We had all momentum. Civic Center was it was so loud in there, and then the minute left, we just have a simple breakdown, leave them wide open, and then give them the opportunity in game 3, and comes down to another breakdown.
They took advantage of our breakdowns, and they capitalized on it, where we didn't capitalize as much as we needed to on their breakdowns when we got past them.
Yep.
This year versus the last couple of years that I've noticed, we had a lot more shorthanded goals this year with our PK.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our PK was, I think it was top in the league for regular season, and I know playoffs. I mean, we had a great penalty kill. That's just because we have stand-up defensemen who play physical, and then our system, we know how to take time and space away, and we got fast forwards. You force a turnover, catch them out of position, and I mean, we had the guys who could put the puck in the net.
Absolutely. So you, as a player and as a person, you got a funny side to you?
Yeah.
You got a serious side, and then you have your ice, which I think is a mixture of both. I've I've seen you on the ice go out there and have fun and just cut up and laugh and joke around, and then we've seen times where it was time to get down to business and a scrum would happen and you would go handle business. We've seen I would say the mad side of Storgy.
There's a little bit. There's always been a bit of fire in me. Being a younger brother, I hated losing to my older brother. And, I mean, I still to this day, I hate losing way more than I enjoy winning. Yeah, just some things within the game that can set me off. But as I've matured, I've been able to control that a lot more. But sometimes it's needed, and everyone, Jerome knows, Petro. I mean, all the guys on the team know that I play my best when I am a little bit pissed off and little bit on the edge. I've always prided myself on being tough to play against, whether that's whacking a guy or, with the team, our culture, if someone takes a shot, I don't care what it is, you always got to have the guy's back. So I took a lot of pride this year on, standing up for guys, even though I'm really not a great fighter at all.
You ain't got to be a great fighter to stand up for a teammate, though.
Yeah, it's message and that runs so deep within the culture, and as you go on and season, gets deeper and deeper. See the teams that are willing, they have guys willing to stand up for each other no matter what. Those are the teams usually going farther than everybody else.
I got you. Now, I think a lot of us want to know the Storgy shimmy.
Here we go.
Where did that come from? How did that originate?
So this is a great question. I was expecting this in some form. I get this. I don't get where did it come from a lot, but I get, can you shimmy for me? Are you going to shimmy? Look at this section when you do it. But no one's ever asked me where it came from. And it's a pretty funny story. When I last season, well, two seasons ago now, I went home for Christmas break, and it's a short break. I was home for 2 days maybe. My brother and I went bowling and with some of our buddies, and they had it was like a Tuesday night league bowling going on over here, and we just kept hearing this one lady was just banging strikes down. She had the NBA sleeve on, the gloves. She was full bowler mode. We looked over after she banged a couple strikes, and she was giving the shimmy. So my brother and all my buddies were like, hey, you should start doing that next time you score. It'd be hilarious if you did it. Sure enough, I came back next game, scored, did it at home, and then it took off from there. So it's like a message to, my brother watches the games on YouTube and some of my buddies. So
I know we all love the shimmy. I mean, I have to watch a lot on YouTube now too because I live in Atlanta. But whenever I come down to visit my parents and stuff, we catch as many games as we can, and it's always great to see the shimmy. And as soon as you score, everybody's expecting it. They're not expecting any other celebration. They're not expecting a fist bump. They're not expecting a touch the ice. They're expecting the shimmy.
Yeah, in this league, there's, you got to play, but there's also a big entertainment side, and I try to, make the fans as happy as possible. They're spending their money to come watch us and support us.
I like to go at the end of every interview. I post on the River Dragons fan page.
Yeah.
What people want to know. We only got one question tonight. It's from Phil Holland, and he said, "What has been the hardest part of your hockey career so far?"
My hockey career. So I can look back on when I moved from Anchorage to Seattle. I didn't play at all there, and I thought it was done. We went there for my dad's job, relocated, and then the hockey market in Seattle is very small, and the nearest rink was like an hour away, and it was just kind of a not sad, but we kind of knew, my brother and I, okay, maybe we're done playing. Then we moved to Phoenix, and you got to integrate with all new teammates and coaches and everything. So I'd say that was tough. Also, when I was at school and We had as many guys sitting out every night as we did, just dealing with, maybe a coach you don't agree with the most, keeping a good attitude and the right mindset to show up to the rink every day. And then in pro, I mean, it's 3 years in a row now. We had the team to do it, and we come up short. And we pride ourselves off championships. Nothing else satisfies us. So
Man, and it's kind of like the Braves win the division and win the league, but you don't come home with the title, so it's like nothing even matters.
Yeah, I jumped on the Braves bandwagon a bit last year.
Yeah, I live about 15 minutes from the stadium, so I get to go enjoy a few games whenever it comes up and I'm able to go. But like I said, I thank you very much. It was a great honor speaking with you, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do during this next season, and we get to see a few more shimmies out of you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been an honor.
Yes, sir.
Good
Thank
luck. With this little journey. It's awesome that you're doing this.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and we appreciate you.